it seems I've heard 23 people say, don't let a crisis go to waste. You know, there's this sense that because our lives have been shifted into a new paradigm, this lockdown pandemic paradigm, that clearly that means we should do something new. And I see how that's advantageous for some people in their marketing and some politicians. But I look at my life and I look at what's going on in my own house, and lots of kids trying to distance learn, and lots of people just trying to figure out what's this new world that we're in. And there's loneliness that we haven't normally struggled with, and there's definitely a fair amount of just irritability in people. And it dawned on me that we've been forced into a fast. I don't know how often you've fasted, but one of the things that I've noticed is that when I give up the foods, the drinks that I love, in that fasting time, it is not uncommon for God to address some lingering need for growth, some lingering need for healing, some lingering malaise that's in my life, and He'll address it as my hunger and my irritability makes it visible. It was there, it was buried beneath the surface, but when I was fat and happy, I didn't notice it, and other people didn't notice it. But in fasting, it comes out. The same kind of thing plays out. I know I've seen a dozen movies or sitcoms where the plot line is a husband and wife have been married for a great many years, and then their last kid graduates high school, moves out of the house, and they suddenly realize their marriage isn't healthy. And though it used to be busy enough, they didn't notice that their marriage wasn't healthy. Now with the kids gone and the house is quiet, suddenly it's really obvious that they don't even know what to talk about. And in that same way that plot line uses the sort of the exposed injury, the exposed lack, the exposed growth area shows up because it's finally quiet enough that it's the only noise in the room. Or in the case of fasting, in the situation of hunger, it draws out the unhealthiness that's inside. And it just dawned on me that we are all in one of those times where God could legitimately use this pandemic, quarantine, shelter at home thing, because suddenly most of the entertainment, so the live entertainment, the bands, the musicals, the plays, the sports, most of the entertainment that we fill our time with, all that live entertainment's gone. At some point, you've watched enough Netflix that you're struggling to find something new to watch. And you kind of look around and you realize that there's this vacuum, and it draws out stuff. So the arguments at the house that kids that haven't argued much are arguing these weeks, because this vacuum of sort of time is drawing out the irritability. And it was probably always there, and it was probably always a problem, but now it's visible. And so I want to kind of suggest two things. One, don't be upset if something of a yucky attitude, of something that's unhealthy or unhealed, if it shows up, don't be surprised and be thankful. Because the reality is that if I don't know I'm sick, it's unlikely that I will search for a cure. But if I know I have a sickness, something in me is not healed, something in me is unhealthy, something in me longs for fullness or restoration, when I discover that, It's an invitation to do something about it. And so I kind of want to ask you, what's the stuff that's getting drawn out of you? If it's a little unhealthy, if it's a little unfriendly, if it's a little then my recommendation is, in the same way that when I fast, I'm setting things aside, stuff's getting drawn out, and I press in, and I trade the time I would have eaten for time that I'm pursuing God. I think we need to treat this fast, this forced pandemic fast, we need to treat it the same way. So the time you would have watched sports on TV, you need to give a chunk of that time to God and let the fast actually be beneficial. Because He is going to heal some stuff that has been lingering. He is going to remove some lies that have been lingering. He is going to heal some things if we'll let Him. So don't let a crisis drift away and it wasn't beneficial. This is a time that God is going to draw out of us things that are unhealthy, and He's going to restore it with love, with peace, with strength. And we need to let Him do it. And we need to not shy away from it. We need to not be afraid of it. We need to not be ashamed of it. We need to say, wow, God, you've brought some stuff out of me. That's pretty gross. Thank you. Oh God, would you take it out? Would you cleanse it? And would you heal me? And would you speak truth where there are lies? Would you allow this to be the transformative event that I know God wants it to be? And if we'll say yes to that, and we'll let this forced pandemic fast be the beneficial, life-transforming thing that it can be, it's gonna be amazing.